ridiculing us, right?
Cutting their eyes out.
Cutting their eyes, right? Kissing their teeth because they think that we're doing it in vain. We're plowing in vain.
Just like Noah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
See? Right? But look what happened to the people then. What happened to them?
wasn't he out there for 120 years?
Yeah. And what happened to them?
And they only believed in the last day. And out of 120 years, it was only on the day it rained that they believed.
But it was too late, man.
Yeah, because it was
I really didn't believe, man. They just saw it coming.
Yeah.
Because faith is something that they hope for.
Evidence of things not seen.
Because now that they see it, that's a blessing. What I said to Thomas, doubting Thomas,
Yeah.
it's a blessing are they that have
Not seen,
not
but
seen.
yet believe.
Exactly. So them guys, now that they only believe, now they see it, so fuck them.
If I should say this, Elder, right? Look at this goes, yeah? When we tell people about the Lord's going to come back in the clouds, they can't see that. Imagine the Lord come back. It's the same thing when it came to the flood, when it came to Noah. They never knew because water used to spring from the ground.
Yeah.
They never knew about rain coming from the heavens.
They didn't know about that.
So they say, no, that's too far-fetched, man. That's impossible.
crazy.
That's too impossible.
Yeah. It's
the
foolishness.
same foolishness. That's the same. When we say we know the Lord come back in the clouds, when we tell about the chariots,
It's foolishness to them.
so they will just say, no.
It's foolishness to them.
In a so-called UFO? No way.
That's foolishness to them, bro.
You see?
You have to understand the things that we find simple. Like certain government brothers can think in the faith because it's normal to you. Like it's normal to you. But if you tell these things to somebody in the world, that's madness to them.
Madness.
Do you understand what you have?
Yeah, it's beautiful, brothers.
What you have is far beyond what these people believe in.
Yes.
It's far beyond it. Like, it makes sense to you. It don't make no sense to these people. They'll laugh at you.
So I'm not to know.
See, so you don't even know what you have. You've got something very precious in your hands, and like you're taking it for granted. Because the people of the world, you see it so well that it's normal to you. Right? It's just, it is normal. But the people, they don't even see it, man.
Where there is no vision, the people perish.
What's it gonna do? I told you all the precepts came to my head is some gospel.
Did I not be track?
No, not you. Right?
So we were talking about faith, Abraham's faith. Justified it. He was doing the sojourner in a strange land.
Right.
And we were talking about the expectation of the righteous coming down, something like rain from heaven.
Right. Let me get this anyway. While let me get this as Abraham as well. James 2,
Verse 17 is good.
verse 23, and the scripture. Verse 17. Even so, faith, if you have not works, is dead, being alone. So you have to put in the works, even though you believe. You have to put in works. You have to sow. You have to come out here. You have to actually sow and wait, man. Right?
Because you have two types of sowing, you know. You could sow in righteousness and you're going to reap righteousness.
Right.
You could sow in wickedness and you're going to reap wickedness.
See?
So you're always sowing whatever you do it.
Whatever you're doing is always sowing.
Left hand or right.
Right? It says, verse 18, yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. Right? So by doing these works, you're showing your faith, man. Okay? You're basically an example unto the brethren. Jump down to verse 22. Seest thou how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect? And the scripture was fulfilled which saith, Abraham believed the Most High, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness, and he was called the friend of the Most High. Ye see then how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only. There you go.
It's important, man.
Not by faith only. So you actually have to do the works, man.
It's just like elders, like the commandments is not going to save you, but by keeping the commandments, it's going to build up your faith.
Right.
You need to have the commandments always to build up to know the rights and the wrongs, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. You see, you gotta know all that. Yeah. You gotta have all that, man. Okay. See, when it's saying 2nd Ezra chapter 9, it says you should be able to escape by your works and your faith, man. Okay.
Commandments, that's a form of works.
Exactly. You know, that's you demonstrating your faith. Right, because what they say, your actions speak louder than your words, man.
That's right.
Coming on.
This is Romans 2:13. For not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified.
The doers of the law will be justified. But you know, when Yahweh Shah came, what did Yahweh Shah say? He said, it said something about it said commanded the 12. It said, let me get. What's the main commandment?
Love one another.
But not even that, it says on Matthews 10:5. These 12 Yahweh Shah sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Why did he say that?
Read that again, Baba Kasha.
These 12 Yahweh Shah sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
Because that wasn't their office yet. That was set for Apostle Paul to do.
Go into it more. Why not go into the Gentiles? Why not go into the Gentiles?
Oh, because it's not for them, it's for Israel.
There was a lesbian woman talking in
Go a little bit more. Go,
I swear by
help get harder than him.
Right. So,
Why not go into the Gentiles? Why not?
I'm not sure.
Because who was among them?
Israelite foreigners.
Right. So why not go among them? Why? Because the Jews had to be taught first.
See, I said that, but I said it in the wrong way because I said that wasn't for them to do at that time. That's later.
Right. You hit it, but
not straight on the head.
Yeah. Right, because the tents of Judah, according to the Old Testament, had to be saved first.
Can't. For what?
That's why Yahweh Shai, when he was teaching in Judea, man.
Oh, can I just say something? Is that why Elder Pastor Hart, I don't want to quote this wrong. Elder Pastor Hart said the Gentiles in the New Testament is different than Gentiles in the Old Testament.
Yeah, because you gotta know when it's talking about the actual heathens or when it's talking about the Israelite foreigners. When it's the Gentiles in pertinence or pertaining to salvation, yes, that's Israelite foreigners. Like for example, I'm gonna go into it, innit? Let me get this first precept first. Salakio. Yeah, this is Zechariah, the prophet Zechariah, chapter 12, verse 7. The Lord, or Yahweh, also shall save the tents of Judah first.
Order. Decently and in order.
That the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. Right? So that's Zechariah 12, verse 7. Who's the tents of Judah? Was what? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. That's the tents of Judah, or the kingdom of Judah, the southern kingdom. That's the tents of Judah, because Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, they were all the Jews. They're all referred to as Jews. Right? Because they all look the same. Right? The so-called Negroid tribes. They have to be saved first. This gospel had to be taught to them first, man. The Jew first, and then what? The Gentiles. But that's an What's that precept? The Jew first and then the Gentile. The brothers can get it. The Jew first and then the Greek, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, what is it you read? What is it? Zechariah 12 verse 7?
It's not good.
I've got it.
Yeah, Zechariah 12 and 7.
Okay. Romans 1 verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of the anointed, for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth,
Right.
to the Jew first,
What?
to the Jew first,
What?
and also to the Greek.
Uh-oh. To the Jew first and then to the Greek. Them simple-minded Christians, oh, they see, that's talking about white people. Because they don't know the history. Because the Greek, that's basically a Gentile. That's basically,
Greek-speaking Jews.
yeah, Greek-speaking Jews. Israelites or Jews. Because the northern kingdom weren't Greeks.
They were already gone.
They had already disappeared to the Americas long before the Greeks came and conquered our people. So the Greeks were Jews. Were Jews that made the Greek tongue their language because of the Antiochus Epiphanes and Alexander the Great. So you didn't have the northern kingdom as Greeks. You didn't have that.
I think you spoke about this last week, innit?
Yeah.
That they were
I
already
think
gone.
about yeah, they're already gone. You spoke about this
Yeah,
last
Like
week.
the oppression
Yeah.
of Judah and
Yeah.
Israel and the oppression of Israel and Judah
Yes.
together in America.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember we said last week.
Yeah. So if the Christians, the so-called Christians, understood that, they would understand that history, the Maccabees, and everything like that. That's why they took it out of the original King James Version, man.
It's some powerful
Because
stuff.
that's powerful information. But if the Christians understood that segment in our history, they would understand it, man. They would know that the salvation is actually for us. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, man. They would know that. But let's right. So it says what, the Jew first and then to the Greek. The Jew first. Why is that? Because everything has to be done decently and in order, man. Because it was the law first and then faith, man. No. You all got to crack at it, man. Because the Jews in Judea, they represented the Old Testament. They stood by the Old Testament. And Yahushua was basically come to say, listen, the Most High has done away with that because there was a fault with the first covenant. There was a fault with that. That you brethren stand by. You stand by it, but the Most High has done away with it. Because the Jews in Judea, they said, listen, man, because they went by the Mosaic law saying that, listen, if you found not keeping the law, you're not even seen as an Israelite. You've been cast out. Right? Hold on, let me get this.
Cut off from the nation.
Right, you've been cut off. It's Salakia. This Leviticus chapter 18, verse 29. For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people. You hear that? You'll be cut off from among your people. So if you're cut off from among your people, you're not seen as being the holy nation no more. You're seen as being a heathen. What made us holy was the laws and commandments. So if you're not keeping them, then you're seen as being the unclean, the uncircumcised. You were cut off. You weren't even seen as being an Israelite. So someone give me Numbers 15 verse 30. Numbers 15 verse 30.
This is Numbers 15 and verse 30. It says, But the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproach. But the soul that doeth aught presumptuously,
What does the word presumptuous mean?
to do something
Deliberately. You do something deliberately. When you deliberately break the law, like you do it purposefully.
Yeah, without caring.
Yeah, without caring. That's what the word presumptuous means. Or daring. You're daring or you're brave, like presumptuous. Yeah, you're very forward. Come on, I'll read that again.
right. But the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger,
Right?
the same reproacheth Yahweh, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people,
Shall be cut off from among your people. Come on.
because he hath despised the word of Yahweh, and have broken his commandment.
Right.
That soul shall be utterly cut off, his iniquity shall be upon him.
Right, so you have the whole segment of our people that presumptuously sinned against the Heavenly Father when they consented onto Antiochus Epiphanes' commandment, which is to worship idols, sacrifice swine's flesh.
Stop circumcising children.
Exactly, circumcising your sons on the 8th day, right? Engaging in orgies, right? All of that. So what happened? They were seen as being heathens, man. Even though they were Israelites by genealogy, they were cast out. And the Jews at the time of Yahushua held by that. They said, listen, man, they can't come into the temple. And that's why they sought to kill Paul. Because what was Paul doing? He was bringing in the Greeks into the temple, man. He said, well, fuck you guys, man. I'll bring them in, man. I'm bringing them in. So Paul was presumptuous in righteousness. he was daring in righteousness. He was saying, man, I'm ready to die, man. Let me get that. That's an Acts. Right, so this is Acts chapter 21. Let me start from verse 25, right? As touching the Gentiles which believe, because to believe, again, faith, also I don't want to give no heathen faith. To believe, you're an Israelite. So it says, as touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols, and from blood, and from strangled, and from fornication. Then Paul took the men, and the next day, purifying himself with them, entered into the temple to signify the accomplishment of the days of purification, until that an offering shall be offered for every one of them. Continue reading. And when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews which were of Asia, when they saw him in the temple, stirred up all the people and laid hands on him, crying out, Men of Israel, help! This is the man that teacheth all men everywhere against the people and against the law. Right? And this place, and further brought Greeks also into the temple and have polluted this holy place. You see that?
Polluted.
Yeah.
That contamination word.
Because what is it? Because when you go to Revelation, it says the Gentiles are going to be in the outer court, man. You're going to bring them into the inner court.
Yes. They're going to defile the temple.
Exactly. So the Jews at the time looked at those Israelite foreigners as, you're heathens, man. You're the outer temple. You're not meant to be brought in here. And Paul was teaching against that custom.
You see?
So they looked at it like, you're going against Mosaic law, you're going against ancient tradition. So they looked at it like, you're trying to change the customs, man. You're trying to change up the custom. So they sought to kill Paul. And that's why there was so much tumult and rioting.
Yeah.
Because they looked at the first Christians, our ancestors, as being problematic. So we were revolutionaries, man. When we came on the scene, we were causing all hell to break loose. Come on down.
Good point. That's why Peter had the dream of the sheep and animals, which is misinterpreted by the Christians as, oh, now you can eat all the unclean animals. That's not what the dream meant. It meant that Israelite foreigners could be brought back in.
So like you said again.
I said that's why Peter had that dream of the sheep and all kinds of animals.
Right.
Oh yeah, but now we can eat pork and shit.
Right.
That's not what the breakdown of that dream meant.
Right.
It meant that we could bring in Israelite foreigners may look like other nations, they could be brought back in to this truth.
Yeah, because Peter said, I can't eat which is unclean.
Yeah.
Meaning you can't, meaning he looked at it like how it was, like I can't eat dogs and unclean animals. But really what you're saying is I can't accept Israelite foreigners. Which is why someone get that account when he was dilly-dallying with the Israelite foreigners, but as soon as the Jews came in, he switched sides. And he started hanging around the Jews. He was embarrassing to sit with the Israelite foreigners, man. And that's how Paul had to step to Peter and call him a hypocrite. Here is you're the head apostle. You really be standing for the gospel. But when shit gets real, that's the second time he did that shit. He did that when Yahweh Shah was on the scene. And then he punked out again. He denied the Lord 3 times. And then when the Jews came on the scene, he punked out again. And he's the head apostle. He did it again. Hold on. The team will pass by after close out because I just got on 5% now. It's on 5%.
I can't. I'm just trying to find this precept.
This is on Revelations chapter 11, verse 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod. Right? There was given unto me a reed like unto a rod, which is like the Bible. And the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of the Most High, which is what the church. And the altar, and them that worship therein. You see that? Fucking demons, man. So much. That's all you hear up here, man. All you hear. Just go away, man. Right, so it says, and them that worship therein. So this Bible, who's going to know this truth? The elect. So measure the temple, which is the 104,000 and the 1/3.
My sheep.
So this is the standard. This is the measuring stick. That's measuring out the elect. Right? And them that worship therein. But the courts, which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months. Right. So we know that's talking about the actual heathens there.
Okay.
That's the actual heathens. They're going to tread us down and conquer us and lead us into captivity and death. But the reason why I brought this out is because the Jews during the time of Yahweh Shai looked at the Israelite foreigners as being just, they're heathens, man. They're not even seen as Israelites. They're without the temple. They're no different than the other nations because they're not keeping the law. They've been cut off. So they're numbered among the heathens. Do you understand? Do you understand the controversy at the time? Even though you was literally genealogy, by gene, you was an Israelite, but because you wasn't keeping the law, you wasn't even holy. You was seen as the uncircumcised. You were seen as an actual other nation, man. You was outside the temple. So when Paul came on the scene, and started bringing them into the temple. That caused riot, man. That caused a commotion to the point where they got arrested. They sought to put them to death because they came in the name of Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai was that same name that was going to close up the breaches, man. Right? Because it should have said, well, there's no difference. This whole news was saying, listen, there's no difference between the Jew or the Greek, man. But the Jews and the Judea, they're saying there is a difference. They're not keeping the law. But Paul is saying, listen, there is no difference between us. We're all Israelites. Right? Those of you that are keeping the law, you Jews that's keeping the law, you're a bunch of hypocrites, man. So really, you're no different than the same guys that you're persecuting. You're no different than the same Israelite foreigners, man. And if the Israelite foreigners, if they start keeping the law, what's the difference? That means they're uncircumcision, circumcision. And you that's of the circumcision, you're not even keeping the law perfectly. So really, you're just like them. Yeah. You're not the uncircumcision. So what's the difference? What's the motherfucking difference? So Paul was bringing about through Yahweh Shai, bringing about a whole new platform of knowledge, man.
Taking it to the next level.
Yeah, they're saying, listen, man, the Lord closing up them breaches, man. Closing out that middle wall of partition. Right? Making us one in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. And that's what them Jews they're falling off with that, man. They're falling off with that.
You can make me account. It's in Acts 15, but I can see your points about the guy.
Yeah, so we have to close up, but I can't. We ain't gonna. So anyway, with that, Barakah the Yahweh, Barakah the Yahweh Shai, Barakah the Yahweh, Barakah the Yahweh Shai, Barakah the Yahweh, Barakah the Yahweh Shai, Barakah the Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Yukal Kodash, Kwam Yasharana, Kwam Yasharana, Kwam Yasharana, Kwam Yasharana. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Yukal Kodash. Shalom. That's right, man. The whole Gentile situation is meat. It is meat, man. Like understanding that whole controversy, like really understanding it. Like we know that the Israelite foreigners, the Gentiles in the New Testament pertaining to salvation are Israelite foreigners, but to understand that whole controversy, man, the whole dilemma, why they were trying to put Paul to death, and what Paul and the apostles and the disciples that were with him were trying to do. They were going against ancient tradition. They were going against Mosaic law that, listen, man, if you're found not keeping the law, you're cut off. But Paul is saying, listen, even though that was the case back then, but the Lord is showing mercy, man. The Lord, the elect is even among them.
Yes.
It's even among them. So what? They're still Israelites, man. Because at the end of the day, man, when you look on a deeper level, we all become Gentiles.
Yeah.
So what difference is there between any of us? Because the Jews back then, they took pride in being outward appearance. We're Jews after the flesh. We're of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We got the records, we got all that going on. We keeping the law. But guess what? The Most High made it where we all got scattered, man. All became Gentiles. You see? So now we all become like Greeks now. You see? There's no difference. There's no difference now. And the scribes and the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they were hypocrites any fucking way. That's what the Lord said. He that has sinned, cast the first stone, man. You about to stone Mary Magdalene, but you niggas is doing the same shit, man. So you're a bunch of damn heathens anyway. Come on.
The spirit of that controversy still exists on the earth today.
Yes.
Where you've got these guys saying only black people can be Israelites.
Yeah.
Because they hate the northern kingdom. And likewise, you've got northern kingdom guys who are like, nah, the niggas can't be Israelites. So it's the same spirit that's still on the earth today.
See? Ready, man. Say it, shalom.
Shalom.